A few days after being detained under the National Securities Act, Shah Faisal's comrade moved the J&K High Court for the writ of habeas corpus for his release. And just as the High Court was about to issue orders for his release, the writ was called off by none other than Shah Faisal himself. And now he's praising the same Hindu nationalist government that took away the Article 370. What happened? What made him change his heart? Well, India is ruled by BJP, and thanks to the opposition's constant failures, the BJP may get to rule for at least next decade or so. Trust me, this protest won't make a difference. Now suppose you are a bureaucrat and taken up a fight against the ruling dispensation and resigned in reaction to the so-called tyranny of the ruling party. Now would you dare joining the same service back again that you resigned from in protest of one of their major poll promise that they made to the masses, and that too under the same government? Unless you literally have a deal struck under the table with the same government. The BJP has been including the abrogation of Article 370 in its election manifesto ever since its formation. And winning of the 2019 election with huge majority gave huge impetus to the ruling party to go ahead and do the needful. And eventually it did. Guys, when a government take a strategic decision, that too of such a magnitude and importance, and that happens to involve the most hostile territory in the world, Kashmir, with the two most hostile neighbors with nuclear arms and deep pockets, well, China has got deep pockets full of money, and Pakistan has got deep pockets to beg and fill it up with whatever possible. Now, as a government strategist, would you not go an extra mile to make that decision as successful as possible? Especially when you are a person of a huge caliber like that of the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, right? The National Security Advisor has been working in Kashmir for at least a year prior to the abrogation of Article 370. And I think since Burhan Wani was killed in 2016 and when trouble brew over his encounter, that led to a huge riots in Kashmir. Stone pelting started. Now suppose yourself into the shoes of the National Security Advisor. Would you not employ the best minds to the task? Would you not get the person who hails from the same geography and who is intelligent beyond doubt? And as far as I think, securing rank 1 in the most coveted Indian administrative services does qualify you to be hailed as an intelligent enough, right? Now the National Security Advisor robbed in Shah Faisal, and I think in national interest, Shah Faisal agreed to be a separatist. He agreed to become one of the most hated Indians, and he agreed to become the most loved son of the soil for Kashmiri separatists and Pakistanis who cherished his long-awaited Ghar Wapsi. He was planted under the guise of a Kashmiri separatist so that he could get the highest level intel from the top leadership of Kashmiri separatists, and probably that is the reason India did not witness a single terror attack in Kashmir or elsewhere during the same period. In fact, this period has been one of the most successful because of the consistent army ambush on terrorists. Shah Faisal probably fed all the vital intel to the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Shah Faisal praising the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan and hailing his nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize by his stupid fellow cabinet minister a good and bona fide decision, and rated Imran Khan over Narendra Modi. Think about it for a second. Had you been the National Security Advisor, would you not rope in such an efficient and intelligent bureaucrat? Right? Now, don't tell me that after the abrogation of 370, he did not have anywhere else to go, and no election to contest and no money at all, because Pakistan could shower him with truckload of money to be their political stooge and spread their propaganda against India in global theatre, just like they do with Khalistanis and Kashmiri separatist Hurriyat. So why did he have to join the civil services? That service that makes him subject to the tyranny of the ruling BJP government, who he allegedly antagonized by all the consistent support to all anti-BJP political elements. Just think over it. So my rational analysis of this whole episode of the abrogation of Article 370, from Shah Faisal resigning from the civil services in protest of the removal of Article 370 and later being detained by the government under the National Security Act, and later withdrawing his own habeas corpus writ right before it was about to be heard, and that too in his own favor. and most importantly, the ruling BJP that did not even accept his resignation even till date and blessed him with an option to join the services again. When the Central Civil Services Rules 1965 clearly provides that ruling government with the acceptance of resignation as soon as it is referred to the government by the person resigning. Why Modi government did not accept his resignation when it could accept without affording any further delay, especially a person who praised a Pakistani Prime Minister over Indian Prime Minister? Isn't it mysterious? And remember, Davinder Singh, the DSP of Jammu and Kashmir Police, and few other terrorists who were also arrested by the J&K police last year, a couple of years ago. It may or may not have anything to do with Shah Faisal. Now just take a look at this photo in front of you. On being questioned by the news portal The Wire about his earlier statement calling the scrapping of Article 370 as a murder of the Constitution in the House of the People, to which he replied by calling it a national consensus of a dynamic democracy. Guys, that's my rational analysis, keeping in mind all that has happened in public space so far. He may be, as he is being called these days, the resignation man or a traitor. But as far as I could analyze the situation so far, and keeping in mind the government's response to this resignation, I think he was and is serving the nation under the guise of a confused and opportunistic resignation man.